Do you have ants in your brain? What? Ants? That's right. I'm going to tell you in this video what are ants and whether or not you have them and how to get rid of those ants from your brain. Do you really want ants crawling around your brain? Ugh, I don't. It makes me sick to even think about it. But it could be that you have ants in your brain and you are letting them destroy you without being aware of them. So, first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Mussarat Yusuf Ali. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a therapist, and I am here to make mental health videos and videos about topics that might interest you. So if there's something that you want to learn more about, give me a shout out and let me know what is it that you would like more information on. So what are ants? Ants are automatic negative thoughts. Now, I didn't coin this term. I got this from Dr. Daniel Amen. He's a psychiatrist in the field of mental health. And when I heard this, automatic negative thoughts, ants in our brains, I was like, oh my goodness, this is really, really critical information. Would I allow ants to, crawl all over my house? Absolutely not. But why is it that I am okay with having ants in my mindset, in my thinking, in my brain, in my internal environment? I wouldn't want ants in my external environment, so why am I allowing ants to go up here and here? No way. Now, if you are not convinced, ants are gonna destroy you. Automatic negative thoughts are going to destroy you. If we are not attentive to our thoughts, and our thoughts have energy, and if you think about all of us, everything that's around us, every inch and iota of us, we are all energy. We are beings of energy. And so our thoughts also have energy. And our thoughts have the power of shaping what we think and what we say, do, and how our life turns out. Now, I'm not going to share with you exactly what, but when I was 16 years old, I had a random thought about the guy that I wanted to be married to. And I never thought about it. It was just one time I read something and I had this thought, and I just remember having this thought, and then here I am, married to this man who has this one quality that I wanted in my spouse to have. Now, it's not even a negative or a positive comment. It was just a neutral statement about the person that I want to marry X. And here I am, married to that X. And so, that X quality. And so, wow, like, oh my goodness. Here is a thought, a random thought that I just even thought once, and it turned out to be accurate and true. I have no idea how many thoughts I may have had that are manifesting themselves without me being conscious of them. So when we have negative thinking, that impacts our mood. Now, take an example for yourself. Right now, if I call you, you piece of shit, whoa, how do you feel? I don't even feel good saying it. You probably did not feel good about that, did you? You probably want to just turn me off and be like, bye-bye. Well, if you stuck around, you can notice how a negative statement, which sometimes is our internal thoughts, we say these things to ourselves, they become how we feel. And then our mood can dictate what we end up doing. If I feel that I am inadequate, that I feel that I'm not good enough, or if I feel that I am not worthy, then if I want something or if I want to accomplish something, instead of going and doing that thing, I'm not going to want to do it. Let's even take a simple example as, eating healthy or making choices that are good for our body, right? Working out, eating good, nutritious food, going out for a walk, or, even taking a vacation. If I tell myself that I am not worthy, I don't deserve this, I'm not a good enough person, right? Like, I can't do this. I'm a weak person, right? I don't have the willpower. Even if I say that comment, like, oh God, I don't have the willpower. Well, then guess what? that's going to have an impact on my emotions, on my mood. And when I go down to the pantry and it's lunchtime, instead of grabbing for that salad that I bought, I'm gonna go and grab for me, it's the chocolate. My chocolate and my tea are my sweet addictions. And so I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna fill my stomach with that. And then there I am feeling loathful and unhappy about the decisions that I made. Now, luckily for you guys, I did have my salad today before coming on here. So there was no negative thinking there. And I wanna just tell you this impact that negative thoughts can have on you. Now, some people will be unaware of their negative thoughts. So it is really, really important that before you write off and say to yourself, I don't have any negative thoughts, I'm a positive person thinking, I want you to really stop, slow down, and I want you to listen to yourself. And I want you to listen to what you are saying and ask yourself, does this statement have a negative energy? Is it neutral? Is it just facts? Because I do believe in mindfulness. Mindfulness is about just stating the facts non-judgmentally, stating information non-judgmentally, not good, not bad. We'll talk about that in a different video. But for now, when it comes to our thoughts, our statements, even outwards towards other people, we want to ask ourselves, is this a negative thought? Does this have some kind of kindness and positivity? Does this exude positive energy? Or does this create a negative mood, a negative energy? You know, if I say this to someone, will they want to be my friend? Or will they be like, ugh, I don't want to be with this person, right? We want to think about what is that external dialogue and that internal dialogue. So if you want to know whether or not you have ANTS, I want you to reflect on your own internal dialogue that you have with yourself. Do you feel positive about yourself? Do you feel pumped up? Do you feel good about doing good for others? If that is a no, that's an indication you might have some negative thinking. And then I want you to observe the people around you. Now, there are negative naysayers out there, so not everyone is going to be a good source of information. However, I want you to notice and observe that are there people around you, and when you speak to them and when you're conversing with them, how do they react with you? How do they interact with you? You know, do they feel good? Are they, again, is there that positive vibe? Is there that positive energy? Do you feel uplifted around them, well, with them, and then you yourself as well? Are you uplifting the energy? Or is it that you are, bringing people down? And, this, as Muslims, we have to think about like how we can go into gossiping without unconsciously being aware of it. We think we're just talking about, stuff that happens. She's just my daughter, or she's just my son. I need to talk about it with someone. And by the way, I think there is a huge difference between therapy and gossiping outside of therapy, which again will be another video. So coming back to your ANTS, think about, listen to your own internal dialogue, and second, listen when you are talking to other people. What kind of feedback are you getting? Are you getting feedback that, hey, what you're saying doesn't really sit right with me? Now, I will give you a caveat here. There are some people who have experienced trauma, or who may have experienced some childhood developmental challenges and vulnerabilities, where there's been research to show that when they put under fMRI scans, if they look at neutral pictures or even happy pictures, these people will look at these faces as being angry or negative. So there are some people whose brains are, let's just say, kind of wired to look at things negatively rather than the way they are. And so if you are such a person and you're getting that feedback, like everybody's seeing everything else positive, but then you're the one that's seeing it as negative, then maybe you might want to ask yourself, hey, did I experience some trauma? Did I have a less than ideal childhood that could be impacting me and how I view the world? There is hope. You can change your brain, and there's a different way that you can look at life, and you can heal your trauma. However, if you haven't experienced trauma and if you haven't had this vulnerability, then you want to, again, have that self-reflection and look at that feedback that you're getting from the world. Then the third thing is you want to change that. You don't want to let those ants destroy your internal workings. I mean, gosh, for me, my brain, whoa, it's really important, right? And the brain is everything, right? So the brain connects to our body, and so much information comes in from, bottom up is what it's called, from the rest of our body, not just the brain and the skull. We have a brain in our belly, we have a brain in our heart, and so we want our whole brain system to be working, to be optimal, to be functioning to the best, right? And it's time to get rid of those ants. It's going to be difficult, however, it is possible. This third part is where you can ask a friend, a loved one, a therapist to help you with recognizing those negative thoughts, with recognizing what are those statements that I say that are coming off as negative. For those things that you already know, well, you might already know how to sit down, and you don't even have to write a positive statement in the beginning. You can begin just by sitting down, noticing what are those negative thought processes that you have. And then first looking at them and reflect. Would I say this to a friend? Oh, I would never say this to a friend. Well then, you want to ask yourself, what would I tell my friend? If my friend was struggling with weight issues, marital issues, child, problems with raising children, she was a working a woman, man, whatever. What would I tell them? What would I tell my friend? And how would I encourage my friend to be to themselves? And then the thing that you would tell your friend, you want to say that to yourself. And you want to bring that kindness and compassion to yourself. If you have a hard step with it, if you are having a hard time with this, if this is difficult and challenging for you, and you are maybe one of those people that you cannot see the negativity in your own words, you feel that you are being, I'm just honest, I'm just matter of fact, I mean, this is just the way I talk, well, I will ask you to get at least one person that you love and trust, and that has the best interest in mind for you. And if it's not in your, friends or family circle or community circle, then get a therapist, okay? You cannot let ants destroy you. And ask them to be that person for you that will teach you what are those negative comments and what is that negative energy that you are creating for yourself inside of you and that you are externalizing to others as well. If you cannot do it alone, it is important that you find a buddy to do it. Several years ago, when I was working in Austin, I stumbled upon this program, and it was a program designed to help people become more positive minded. And the program was just really this. You again find that buddy to help you, and then you wear a rubber band in your wrist and your arm. It's a symbol of reminding you that you are working on positive thinking and positive language. And the idea is that with you and your buddy or your system around you, inviting people around you, you make an agreement that we are going to try to create positivity in this world. What you would do is every time somebody says something negative, if you notice them saying something negative, you want to let them know, like, hey, that comment I think is negative. And then that person and you two want to move that rubber band from this hand to this hand, because that creates a signal for your brain like, I need to change something. Now the goal is that you want to keep your rubber band in the same hand that you have all the time. And when you have it in one hand all the time, that means you are progressing in that journey of creating positivity and creating that positive internal and external dialogue. Now, the reason both of you want to switch the bands is because the person that's telling you, hey, you made a negative comment, is also in a way saying a negative comment by reminding you that your comment is negative. So it's a little humorous for me, but there you have it. If you notice yourself like, oh my God, whoa, I said that was not nice. that wasn't very positive. That was negative. I'm so sorry. You change the band yourself and you correct yourself. And so you keep on doing this until you will notice that your, again, internal and external dialogue is changing, and it will have an impact in your mood. It will have an impact in your, how you show up for life. Now, on a separate video, I'm going to talk about mindfulness. And I just want to say, as a therapist, I talk a lot about validation, emotions. Emotions are valid. However, our actions are a whole different ballgame. So I'm not saying to dismiss your emotions. There is a place to have our emotions. So this idea of getting rid of your ants is not about dismissing your emotions. This idea of getting rid of your ants from your system is about getting rid of those actions that are not helpful, those actions that actually go against the natural desire of our emotions. And that will be, again, a separate video altogether. All right, here we are at the end. What do you think? Do you have ants in your brain? Do you have ants in your system? Do you like that? I don't. So I really try working on getting rid of those ants. And I also practice mindfulness whenever I can. And I want you to do the same. The Prophet's hadith of a smile is so much charity, right? So let us smile, not only with our lips, but also let us smile with our words. Let us bring in that gentleness and kindness and compassion and positivity into this world. So if you're going to give this a try, or if you agree with what I have said, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, so that we can all begin to raise the vibration of this world, so that we can begin to live in that harmonious and peaceful world that Allah has promised us. Thank you, and take care, and see you back here on another video. Ma'as salama.